Next, I call upon Dr. Vijay Bhaskar, sir. He is Professor of Dermatology from Stanley Medical College, Chennai. I call upon him to deliver his lecture on hypopigmented patch. Over to you, sir.
Madam, can I start sharing my screen?
Yes, sir.
10 minutes. 2 minutes.
Sir, you have 10 minutes for your talk, sir.
Yes, madam. A very good evening, and to all my teachers here and my friends and colleagues. This topic is very, as I said, I have repeated this topic so many times, but this is one of the commonest conditions we come across in the practice. And with this given 10 minutes, I will try to give the picture about all this differential diagnosis for hyperpigmented patches. So whenever you see in your practice so many hypopigmented patches, you get confused. So the very easy approach to these hyperpigmented patches is see whether they have scaling or without scaling. And please do not refer all these patients to any dermatologist. I am telling you, all pediatrician can easily treat. So you split it into with scaling, without scaling, and something with neurodevelopmental defect or organ associated with organ failures. I mean, organ defects. So with scaling, all the conditions can be treated. And without scaling, some can be treated, some you need not treat, but some of you have to refer to the dermatologist. This is how you go about. So with scaling, the commonest conditions we come across in our practice is pityriasis alba, pityriasis versicolor, seborrheic dermatitis, and polymorphous light eruption. I'm not going to go into the very complicated diagnosis. These are the common conditions what we come across in practice, and you can easily treat these conditions. And first we go with scaling. Always look at the patch. Mostly it can be a single patch or it can be multiple patch. It can be on the face or even it can be on the trunk. When it is on the trunk, it can be larger. And you see this patch. Whenever you see this patch with scaling, look at the borders. If you are not able to have a clear-cut border and it is asymptomatic, then the most common diagnosis, particularly in children below 15 years of age, is pityriasis alba. And it is a recurrent conditions. And in my days, when I was doing my pediatric practice, I used to treat with deworming and also multivitamins. So you just, whether you treat this condition or not, you reassure them within 2 or 3 months, it will disappear. So your multivitamins for 2 or 3 months is going to make it disappear. So that is not the treatment. The exact reason for this is it's an endogenous eczema. Most of the atopic children may have this. And even there are children without atopy also who can develop this. So all children with pityriasis alba need not be atopic, but most of the atopics will have pityriasis alba. So here the main thing is reassurance. Just reassure the parents, because our parents are worried whenever they have a hypopigmented patch and anywhere in the body, because they are more worried about Hansen's and also vitiligo. That is the reason. Here you give reassurance, and topical emollients like liquid paraffin or any emollients can be more than sufficient. And when the patch is slightly red in color, you can use 1% hydrocortisone cream. Twice daily you can apply for 2 to 4 weeks. And by most of the time, by 2 to 4 weeks, all this will disappear. In case they don't disappear after 2 to 4 weeks, you can try topical tacrolimus and topical pimecrolimus. So it can be safely used once daily. It can be applied for another 4 weeks or maximum 6 weeks. Most of the time it will disappear. And deworming and multivitamins has no role in pityriasis alba. Now coming to the next common condition, here you can see the same scaling that is present, but look at the borders. The initial condition, the borders were ill-defined. Here the borders are well-defined, and sometimes you can see in the inner canthus also. This is pityriasis versicolor. If you have a well-defined border, scaly patches, and there is no other symptoms, I mean, there will be no itching, nothing. It is asymptomatic conditions. Then you can put it as pityriasis versicolor because of different colors. And here topical medicines like clotrimazole, all azole groups like clotrimazole, miconazole, ketoconazole, you can apply twice daily for a period of 4 to 6 weeks. That will give the results. Sometimes in adolescence, you can see multiple lesions or larger lesions. This is white in color. This is brown in color. So it is this reason it is called as pityriasis versicolor. Here, what you can do is you can give topical ketoconazole lotions can be applied. And on the trunk, you can give even selenium sulfide. A short contact period of 10 minutes is more than sufficient. And oral fluconazole at the dosage of 8 to 12 milligram per kg body weight stat, and you can repeat it after 1 week. And this is other conditions where you can see again an asymptomatic condition, and they are very small hypopigmented scaly lesions. You can see that, but look at carefully this area. You can see the dandruff that is present. This is seborrheic dermatitis. So normally we know that seborrheic dermatitis is from womb to tomb. And here again, topical emollients is more than sufficient. And you can apply hydrocortisone cream for 2 to 4 weeks. You'll get excellent results for this seborrheic dermatitis. Along with that, they have dandruff. You have to treat this dandruff also. You can use ketoconazole lotions, or ketoconazole with zinc pyridine lotions can be applied, or cycloperoxylamine lotions. You have to slightly wet the hair, apply the lotion, wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Then you can rinse off twice a week. You can use it for 3 months. That will take care of the seborrheic dermatitis of the scalp also. And this is one condition which is different from the other condition. Here, this child has a itching. Whenever the child goes into sunlight, they have itching, or there may be slight burning sensation. And you can see that there is a scaly. This is nothing but polymorphous light eruptions. Here, the main problem will be either itching will be there, or there may be photosensitivity that may be present, and it will be present in the sun exposed areas. So they have scaling. So this is one conditions where you can use hydrocortisone cream that can be applied, or even Desonide cream can be applied. But apart from that, you have to use your sunscreens also. Sunscreens can be safely used above 6 months of age, and particularly Micronized zinc is the best sunscreen that is available that can be used on children. But you have to repeat after every 2 hours or 3 hours, or even once in 4 hours, it has to be repeated. And this sunscreen effect has to be, you have to protect the child between 8 to 4. That is very, very important. That is, or between 10 and 2, the peak sunlight, sensitivity that can happen. And if they have itching, you can give antihistamines. And of course, they can have a broad brimmed hat, and they can use full sleeve shirts like this. They can be prevented. Now coming to the hyperpigmented patches without scaling. These are the common conditions we come across, in particularly in our part of the, particularly in the coastal districts, states like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, and also Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. We see a lot of Hansen's disease. So that has to be kept in mind. And the next one is early vitiligo. The third thing is nevus, and some topical depigmenting agents, particularly in adolescent age group, when they use for fairness, that can lead to, even the topical steroids that they use can lead to depigmentation or hyperpigmentation and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. These are the common things, but they all have a common condition, that is it occurs without scaling. So whenever there is no scaling, some of the conditions will disappear on its own. Some of the conditions you may have to refer to the dermatologist, and some of the conditions you can treat it. So coming to one by one, this is an hypopigmented patch, but again, this child, if you see that there is no scaling and the borders are ill-defined, sometimes you can get in well-defined borders also. This is a case of Hansen's disease, and it is not always, it is very difficult to even look for sensation, because face is the one where they have multiple innervation and bilaterally it is represented. So detecting a loss of sensation or impairment of sensation is very difficult. One thing you can do is make the child play, or make the child to stand in sunlight, and you can see the child may not sweat in that particular area. So that is one clue that you can get. So if you have a small doubt also, it is better to refer to the dermatologist, nearby dermatologist, because the child may need 6 months of therapy, either with paucibacillary or multiple acid ducts, depending on the type of the Hansen's disease. And very rarely we also go for a biopsy, because on the face it's very difficult to do a biopsy. In other areas we can do a biopsy and find out. So this is a Hansen's disease. It's better to send it to the dermatologist for treatment. This is another child with the Hansen's disease that you can see. And this is another hypopigmented patch that you can see. It is present on the arms. And this is very easy to make a diagnosis. So anybody can make a diagnosis of vitiligo, but this is an early vitiligo. It's very, very difficult to make a diagnosis. Even if you make a diagnosis of early vitiligo or vitiligo, you just give reassurance to the patient, because a lot of therapies are available, and it is better to refer these patients also to the dermatologist, because they may need prolonged therapy. We normally use a lot of steroids for these patients to initially for the active diseases when they have. Later, we normally put them on tacrolimus, or there are various other therapies that are possible, like narrowband UVB therapy, POA therapy, POA sol, immunomodulator therapy. More things are available. So it is better to be referred to the dermatologist so that they can take care of this vitiligo or early vitiligo condition. Now coming to this condition, this child has had a lesion since birth. It was very small. As the child started growing, this patch also started growing. This is a very simple condition. It is a nevus. So it is nevus achromicus. When you have a serrated border like this, it is nevus achromicus. And when you have a smooth border, it is nevus anemicus, or you can do a diascopy to differentiate between these two conditions. Again, here reassurance is the only thing needed. If they are very particular, if it is present in the cosmetically disturbing areas, then definitely you can refer to the dermatologist. Lasers are available for this, and no topical treatment is going to be effective. Or else we can even go for camouflaging. Camouflage also can be done if it is present in the cosmetic areas. We can give a powder that will match the color of the skin, and that can be done. So here again, reassurance is mostly, that is what is needed. If necessary, you can refer to dermatologist for laser therapy. And this is post-inflammatory hypopigmentation, particularly when they use this. Here there was a steroid that was injected that caused this hypopigmentation. Sometimes topical application of steroid can cause, or any any impetigo that heals, or any other skin condition that heals can leave hypopigmentations. And particularly in post-inflammatory hypopigmentation, when it is followed by some skin condition that has occurred earlier, just leave them alone, reassure them, because most of the lesions will repigment in the course of the time. Even if it is going to be due to the steroids, you can just discontinue the steroids, and that will particularly, it will disappear on its own. So here again, the reassurance is the only thing that's needed. And just give some emollients. In case patients has to be satisfied, you can give some emollients that will take care of the patients. And the hypopigmentation with organ involvement, you have two conditions. One is tuberous sclerosis, another is hypomelanosis of Ito. Whenever you see these type of hypopigmented lesions, please think of some internal organ involvement. So this is an ashy leaf macule. We all know that it is common with the tuberous sclerosis complex, and you have a broad end at one side and tapering end at the other end. And this is non-scaly condition that is present. It is present since birth. And if you want, if the baby is very far, you can do a neonatal screening. Like you can pass the baby in Woods lamp, then it can pick up these type of lesions. So you can make a record, and you're not going to do anything for the tuberous sclerosis complex dispatch, particularly for the ashy leaf macule. But you can put a word, you can document it, so that if the child starts throwing any convulsion, we know that the child is going for complications, and you can start treatment early so that the further complications can be prevented. And the common sites is going to be posterior trunk, extremities, head and neck. And it can fade as the child grows, and we are not going to give any treatment for the skin lesions, but kindly watch this patient, observe this patient for other systemic symptoms and signs, and you intervene early so that you can prevent mental retardations. And coming to the last condition, this is hypomelanosis of Ito. It is present since birth. You can have a bizarre hypopigmented lesions like this, which can follow the Blaschko's lines, or it can involve the entire half of the body. Rarely it can be bilateral. Most of the time it is unilateral that can be seen. Again, we are not going to do much to the patches, but they may have associated skeletal, neurological, and or ocular abnormalities that may be present. So kindly examine these things and refer to the appropriate specialist if you find anything wrong with that. So as treatment, nothing is going to be done for the patches, because most of them may fade as they grow, but you refer to the appropriate specialist if they have neurological, skeletal, or ophthalmological problems. And thank you. If there are any questions, I'll definitely take it up. I'm sorry I have to rush fast, because the 10 minutes is a very short time for this particular topic. Anyway, I think I have done justice. I once again thank the IAP, IGPP, CME, the organizers. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Surely you've done justice to your